forged the 7 Chaos Emeralds into the most unstoppable weapon ever created.
A lot of exciting new information about the Blue Speedster's upcoming adventure is already available for fans anticipating Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Based on the Sega game from '91, the third film of the franchise is currently in production and promises to be a completely different experience.
So should we get out of here?
Yeah, time to go.
There's no denying that the amusing Blue Blur with the voice of Ben Schwartz deserves some credits for the impressive trend of video game adaptations. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog has starred in 2 fairly successful big-screen films and has made a respectable amount of money at the box office. Following a $319 million box office haul, Sonic the Hedgehog brought in $405 million worldwide during its second theater run. Somehow, 2 movies about a guy who likes to jump on boxes and run around in circles have been enough to draw audiences just as much as an addicted plumber to mushrooms. Pressing start for Sonic the Hedgehog 3, quickly Paramount took advantage of the video game series' growing popularity and the tease that fans would surely be eager to see continued. Can the witty lead character live up to the hype a third time, especially since one of the franchise's essential components won't be present this time? The introduction of Knuckles, voiced by none other than Idris Elba, was not only a pleasant surprise, but also a masterful casting choice that took Sonic the Hedgehog 2 to a whole new level. Does the team have enough experience to raise the stakes the third time? If this is the case, we won't have to wait long to find out if the series is still moving forward, because Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is scheduled to launch on December 20th, 2024. Although the first 2 films in the series did well during the first quarter releases in 2020 and 2022 respectively, it appears the studio has more faith in the franchise as the third film has been given a holiday release date. Though it might seem prudent to try the holiday box office, Thunderbolts, the Marvel film that resembles Suicide Squad and opens the same weekend, promises to be a formidable rival. With stars like Sebastian Stan, Florence Pugh, and Stephen Yeun on their roster, what could Sonic possibly have brought back from Green Hill Zone to take on these legendary heroes? His name is Shadow, and he doesn't get along with other hedgehogs.
Hello, Hedgehog. Did you miss me?
Even though the lineup of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is still largely unknown, many of the series' well-known characters will probably make a comeback. Ben Schwartz will return to voice the title character Sonic the Hedgehog, just like in the previous 2 installments. Idris Elba as Knuckles the Echidna and Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Miles Tails Prower will complete the legendary trio alongside him. Despite announcing his high-profile acting retirement, Jim Carrey is officially coming back as Dr. Robotnik. Kristen Ritter and Cristio Fernandez are among the numerous new cast members that Sonic 3 brought on board in addition to Carrey's comeback. Although Shadow has been hinted at, the part has not yet been cast. There will also be appearances by James Woke, Alaya Brown, Jorma Taccone, and Sophia Pernes. However, Brown is the only actor whose role has been confirmed. She will portray Maria, Dr. Robotnik's cousin. The news that Maria will be joining the cast of live-action Sonic franchise from Paramount is exciting, particularly since she is central to one of the darker plots in the video games and comic books. Her last name suggests that she's related to Dr. Robotnik, aka Dr. Eggman, the villain. It'll be evident in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, though, just how different Maria is from the crazy scientist. Maria is Ivo Robotnik's cousin, since she is Gerald Robotnik's granddaughter. However, Eggman and Maria never truly got to know one another. The main link between them was their grandfather, a brilliant but desperate scientist employed by the United Federation to work on Project Shadow, though he had only agreed to do so in the hopes that it would save Maria, who was suffering from a terminal illness. The man's goal was to create an immortal and powerful being.
But you know nothing about me, Hedgehog.
Well, I know you echidnas have a habit of showing up uninvited and ruining my life.
Eggman and Maria are not much alike, even though they are related. Gerald seemed to prefer his granddaughter, but Maria loved her grandfather and Eggman looked up to him. Though weak and ill, she had a kind, gentle gentle and sharp mind. In the end, it was these characteristics that made Maria such a suitable friend for the unpredictable and hazardous Shadow the Hedgehog, a bond that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 will undoubtedly emphasize extensively. As was previously mentioned, Gerald Robotnik joined Project Shadow team in hopes that it would provide an option to save his granddaughter Maria. In the end, he was able to create the formidable Hedgehog, and since Maria grew up as Gerald's elbow, she got to know Shadow right away. Maria's love and kindness were exactly what Shadow needed, and it was through the young girl that he started to learn the importance of friendship. Sadly, there was no happy ending to their relationship. The United Federation gave the order to terminate Project Shadow because they thought Shadow the Hedgehog was too strong and dangerous to continue. The Hedgehog was supposed to be eliminated by gun soldiers, but Maria got in the way and sadly was shot. Gerald Robotnik was so upset over the terrible death of his little girl that he decided to exact revenge. Due to his sorrow over Maria, Shadow made himself more susceptible to manipulation by Dr. Eggman. It wasn't totally clear what direction the film franchise would take with the Shadow tease at the end of Sonic 2, as the Sonic the Hedgehog movies from Paramount have been fairly flexible with canon. Nevertheless, the news that Maria Robotnik has been cast for Sonic 3 suggests that the forthcoming narrative will, at minimum, particularly adhere to the existing legend. This is quite unexpected because the two last movies were much more jovial and suitable for a family audience. A dark turn for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is indicated by the inclusion of Maria, a child who is tragically murdered. Brown's casting as Maria in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 naturally only goes so far. It's still unclear if the narrative involving Shadow and Eggman's cousin will take place in real time or as a sequence of flashbacks. In the end, Brown's Maria might only appear briefly on screen, or she might take center stage as a separate, well-known character.
This guy is always trying to spoil a bad thing!
In Sonic the Hedgehog films, Jim Carrey has played a significant role as Dr. Robotnik. However, theories suggest that when he returns to Sonic 3, he might play a different role. Carrey has done an amazing job portraying Dr. Robotnik, the main antagonist of the Sonic franchise, who is a cunning and compulsive character. Jim Carrey broke both his retirement and the rule that he wouldn't return for the sequel after he announced his retirement from Sonic 2, but he will return for Sonic 3. His unexpected reappearance is greatly appreciated and gives Sonic 3 a greater sense of scale. Sonic 3's return of Carrey underscores how exciting the next movie could be, especially since it has already been confirmed that Shadow will be in it. Nevertheless, particularly in light of Sonic the Hedgehog 2's conclusion, Carrey's return to the film series does not guarantee that he will play Dr. Robotnik again. Though it doesn't always stop the character from returning to the Sonic universe, Robotnik's apparent death allows Carrey to play a different role in the film's universe. Carrey has been a successful villain thus far, but his return may be largely due to a new role. Though it would seem obvious that Carrey would play Dr. Robotnik upon his return, there is a theory that suggests the actor might be playing Gerald Robotnik. There isn't a clear favorite to play Gerald Robotnik, even though Sonic the Hedgehog 3 revealed several new cast members. Gerald appears to be involved as well, based on Shadow's significant role in the movie, and Carrey would be a great choice to portray him. Carrey portraying both Gerald and his grandson, Dr. Ivo Robotnik, would fit the franchise's aesthetic given their visual resemblance.
I can smell the electricity in your brain.
Gerald is important to Shadow's story, but he might not be in it for long. Carrey might only play Gerald in a brief cameo. On the other hand, Sonic 3 has the ability to improve Gerald's character to the point where he might even become the primary antagonist, allowing Shadow to play an anti-hero rather than the main antagonist. According to this theory, Carrey would even play Gerald in addition to Dr. Robotnik, which could result in some hilarious exchanges. Gerald would be a wonderful fit for Jim Carrey, who is more than capable of carrying off playing two roles. Jim Carrey portraying Gerald Robotnik is more likely now that Maria Robotnik is part of Sonic 3. Shadow's lore revolves around Gerald and Maria, and since Gerald will undoubtedly be featured in Sonic 3, it seems inevitable that Maria will as well. It will undoubtedly find a way to include Gerald in the film as it tells Maria's story. Gerald will play a crucial role in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, even though it makes little sense for him to still be alive. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.
I'm sorry. He is no longer the Sonic you once knew.